and they told me something that shook me to my foundation. Looked into my eyes and said that my results are not so good. So I was like, what do you mean my results are not so good? He said because per the tests, I tested positive for HIV. Yes.
Hello everyone, welcome to Hang Out with Oshwari, and thank you so much for joining in today's episode. I also want to thank you for your subscribing, commenting, liking our videos. We definitely appreciate all that you do. Thank you so much. And just before we get right into it, as our custom is, let's talk about what's in our cup. Today I have water. All right, we all know water is good, but that's what my emphasis. In my water, I have apple cider vinegar. All right, apple cider vinegar is very great. It's good. It regulates blood sugar. It also lowers cholesterol, and it's great for weight loss. I love that. All right, that's what's in my cup today. Thank you. All right, let's go right into it. I am so excited about today because in today's episode, we have a very special guest. She is so dear to me. She is my cousin. I've known her for many years. And right here with us, she's a lady with many hats. She has a doctorate. She has a school. And I'll let her introduce herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Hang Out with Oshwari, Dr. Anita from Georgia.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for accepting to do this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and I am super excited to be here. Hi, everyone. So, a brief introduction of myself. My name is Dr. Anita. I am a child of God. I'm a mother, an entrepreneur, an educator. I'm a field minister as well. Like she said, I have a school where we offer education from K through 12. I have a ministry where we reach out to widows, needy widows, pregnant women, and babies. We do a lot of things. We give out scholarships to parents who are not able to afford education. Yes, the Lord has been helping us. So that is just me. You can simply call me Anita.
Thank you. All right. I have a few questions for you. And from my understanding, you've been in the United States for over 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, can you please tell us how it all started?
Oh, wow. Okay, how it all started. I would like to describe my journey to the U.S. as a journey of grace. Wow. Yes, it's been God. It's been amazing. It actually started in 2005, I believe.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. So then, I was an ordained minister at a particular church in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria. So while serving in the church, I was actually also serving as the vice president for the Sisters Ministry. Okay. So in 2005, my president then, she just won the Visa Lotto. Oh. So then, the lottery was a thing back then. Yeah. So she just won the Lotto. And it was at that time that, this awareness came.
Oh, this is a thing.
This is a thing, and it is real. Yeah. So, again, based on who my pastor is, he kind of encouraged every one of us, to play the Lotto and, just try things out. Good. So fast forward to 2007, because there used to be like a 2 years interval for that. Mm-hmm. So in 2007, they had introduced again, it was an ad that the lotto was, was back, and I really didn't want to play, but I remember there was a particular brother in church. He was also a pastor. He actually encouraged me to play in the lotto. And if you remember back then, I mean, this generation, everybody is so blessed. You have the internet, every house.
Oh yeah, I was not like that before.
Exactly. So we used to have to kind of rely on cyber cafe.
I remember that.
And there was this particular, I'm trying not to mention names, but there was this particular very popular cyber cafe back in Benin at the time. And then you have to buy time, then you have to go in. So at that particular time, while we were playing the lotto, the time we had to buy, I think it was about 30 minutes, was being sold for 500 naira.
Oh, yeah.
So when the brother told me, I was like, what? That 500 naira? That's pot of soup.
So you chose pot of soup?
Funny, right?
Okay.
I said, that's pot of soup. How am I going to spend 500 naira? I called it gambling. How am I going to gamble?
Pot of soup.
Listen, it's funny how people miss their blessings. Because of food.
I'm telling you.
Because of food, So I was like, so again, after so much encouragement, I said, don't even give me the money. Let me go.
Oh, he wanted to pay for you?
He wanted to pay for me. I was like, give me the money. It's pot of soup. So, but anyway, long story short, so I agreed, we went in, we played, he bought the time. I played the lotto, he played the lotto as well. And again, the waiting period began. And even while the waiting period was going on, I kind of was not even expectant. I had taken my mind off the whole thing because I didn't even want to do it in the first place. So on this particular day, towards the end of 2007, I wanted to go out in the morning, okay? So, but that particular day, on that fateful day, there was kind of like a tussle in my spirit. Sometimes you have the struggle within you, do it, don't do it, go, don't go. So there was this kind of battle going on in my spirit, go out, don't go out. I was like, you know what? I'll just stay, So I'll just stay. So I was living in a one room. It's not even an apartment. Just
one room.
One room at that time. I had my mattress on the floor. That house is a history on its own. Okay, story for another day. Yeah. So I was, so I went to sleep. Because again I had nothing else to do. So I just went and I had to lay down to sleep. So while sleeping, couple of, again there was a couple of minutes or hours or whatever. There was a knock on my door. So I got up, I opened the door, and it was a particular brother, who was a member of my church, and I remember him telling me, Mama, he used to call me Mama.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, Mama, there is a mail for, senior pastor, which was, our general overseer then. So I was like, okay, so I grabbed the mail from him, and I just threw the mail under my pillow and I went right back to sleep without even paying attention. Alright, so he left. So after some time, I believe it was the Spirit of God. It was like, somebody gave you a mail. You didn't even take time to check out the mail to see what the mail was about. So I was like, oh my God, that is true. So I pulled out the mail, and you wouldn't believe that mail was actually addressed to me.
Oh wow, it was your mail?
Yes, that was my mail.
He couldn't tell it was your mail?
He couldn't tell because at that time he wasn't this kind of someone who could read and write. He wasn't educated. So I took the mail and I carefully opened the mail. And I remember reading the very first line. Congratulations, you have been selected. I was like, wow. Oh my. I said, no, this thing is a gamble. This is not even right. So I actually did this. I got some water and I washed my face.
For real?
I actually did that just to make sure I wasn't still sleeping. Okay. So I washed my face and I read the whole thing. And man, I was consumed. There was joy. I mean, I couldn't just describe the feeling. So I had the mail and I went back outside to look for the brother who actually brought the mail. So I wanted to interview him. So when I walked up to him, I was like, come. I said, who did you say had this mail? He said, oh, that he thinks it's for senior pastor, that somebody brought the mail, that there was a particular guy. The guy was just walking back and forth, looking for, the owner of the mail.
Oh, okay.
So the mailman, which I assume is the mailman now, walked up to him and gave him the mail. And he said he looked at the mail and actually returned the mail to the mailman.
Oh, okay.
Telling the mailman that, nobody around here goes by this name.
Would you have missed that?
I was like, what? You did what? I said, okay, so continue. So it was like, after some time, again, I thank God for the Spirit of God. I really thank God for the Holy Ghost. So he said, that he had to chase after the man and told the man to bring the mail. When he realized or remembered that I was home, he chased the man. He picked up the mail from the man, and that was how he handed me over the mail and said it was for senior pastor. I took the mail and I was like, do you understand
what this is?
Like, do you really know what you were about to do? Like, trash my destiny.
So sorry to cut you. What happened to the pastor? Did he win, the one that convinced you to play?
No, I mean, he didn't win.
So that was just for you. That was.
We can say that. We can really say that. Yeah, he didn't win. In as much as I would have loved him to, but yeah, he didn't win. Right, so again, I took my mail. I was excited. A pastor came.
I would be excited.
I rushed to the pastor's home. That's my senior pastor. I shared the news. I was super excited. And again, we began the visa process. At this time, you have to begin the visa process. So I told my senior pastor what happened, how I was about to lose the mail. So at that point, he just advised me and said, you know what? Just use the church PO box.
Okay.
So that way, if you have any mail, they just put it right in the PO box, and you can go ahead and pick it up. So I said, okay, good idea. So I filled out the form, change of address form. I mailed it back to them. And, everything was done. So I remember, very funny. So I remember, I was supposed to go home because I was in Benin City at that time. And my parents were in Auchi. My mom was in Auchi. My dad had passed then. My mom was in Auchi. So I wanted to actually go home for the New Year. It was past Christmas. I wanted to go home for the New Year. So, but on the 27th of December, 2007, I told myself, I said, before I go home, why don't I go to the mail, the post office, to see if there was any mail waiting for me, because there's, I was something big, right? So, so 27th came, I went to the mail, I went to the post office, I opened the church post office box. Hey, here we are. There was a mail right there waiting for me. I opened up the mail and my interview was scheduled for January the 15th of the following year. Girl.
Wow.
Right.
What if you went without checking?
I'm telling you, like, when I say my journey is a journey of grace, yes, God is an amazing God. So I took the mail. I remember, like yesterday, then we were doing this Okada thing, this bike.
Okay, yeah.
So I stopped a particular bike guy, I told him where I was going to. I sat on the bike. I was super excited. As soon as I got home, he dropped me down. I gave him the money. He said, take your change. I said, keep the change. I was like, keep the change. My level has changed.
Wow.
So yeah, so again, the whole process began. I called my mom, I said I wasn't going to come home.
You didn't have to go home anymore.
So I stayed back, then again, because my interview was on the 15th of January. So then after the New Year, had to travel to Lagos. So again, when I say my journey is a journey of grace, you are going to learn more about why it is a journey of grace. So we got to Lagos, and if you understand anything about the U.S. Embassy, when you apply or when you come in, with that lotto, you have to go through medicals, and they have their own designated hospital.
That's right.
Where you have to run the test just to make sure that you are clean, there is nothing, and stuff like that that could cause an impediment. So I have my schedule, okay, before I just remember something. Before I get to the hospital, you had to go do fingerprinting. Remember, they call it a lag. We go to a lag something like that in Lagos to go do fingerprinting. So I went there for my fingerprinting. I saw a lot of people outside, telling me that fingerprinting was like 6,500, 8,500 just to do fingerprinting. But again, I thank God for the Spirit of God. So he was like, don't pay these people no mind. Just walk into, the office and speak to an official right there. So I didn't pay them any mind. I walked into the office. So I remember speaking with a particular lady, and she said to me, the fingerprinting was 4,500 naira. Now remember, the folks outside had told me 6,585, and she was telling me 4,500. I have no idea what opened my mouth. I have no idea. And I remember telling her, I said, my father said fingerprinting is 2,500. I don't know what opened my mouth, but I sure did say that. I said, my father said fingerprinting is 2,500. So she was like, oh, who is your father? I said, God. So she gave me that look, and shut to what I said. I had the fingerprint done for 2,500. So when I left the go, I was telling my sister, I said, if I had even done, I would have said 1,500. Or I even say free.
Well, I remember that next time I need to do something.
Yeah, my father said.
Yeah, my father said
exactly.
It works.
So again, then we had to go for the medicals, and there again was something big happened. So exactly. So we got to the medical, we got to the hospital. I was super excited, Then we did a blood work, checking for everything, and we asked to come back. I was asked to come back 3 days later to get my, the lab test results and all that. So I came back, 3 days. I was invited to, one of the doctors, I was invited to their office, and they told me something that shook me to my foundation. He looked into my eyes and said that my results are not so good. So I was like, what? Like, what do you mean that my results are not so good? He said, because per the tests, I tested positive for HIV.
What?
Yes. I was like, say that again? Like, my, how did it even happen? How? So he was trying to cancel, HIV can be gotten from this. He was trying to,
you already know.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so he said, but no worries, we are going to do a confirmatory test.
Okay.
So he said, we are going to go through the process of, taking your blood again, doing the test, and you're going to have to come back in 3 days, for the final result. And then he told me, if this thing comes out positive, that means the journey ends here. So, I again went to the lab, it took the blood, I was confused in all honesty. I couldn't pray. I didn't know what to do. I was really, really down, So when I got home, I couldn't even talk to my sister about it. I just thought, I said, they have to do another test. I don't know why, they have to do another test. So I remember calling a very dear friend of mine. He's a senior pastor as well, but I do confide in him. So I called him and I said, look at what happened. And he was like, that result is not your result. He said, it's not even your result. So he was like, what I want you to do, he said, I don't want you to pray about this. So he said, what I want you to do is, I don't want you to pray about this, but I want you to praise about this. He said, no matter how tempted you are to pray, don't pray. He said, praise. He emphasized that because he knows I like prayers. He said, I want you to praise about this. And actually, yes, praise is a weapon. So, I took to what he said, I praised, danced, and got into that mode of praising God and just praising him above whatever reports, they had given. So 3 days came, I went back to the hospital. I got to the hospital, and while I was waiting, there was another lady who was actually there as well. Again, sometimes you get to the hospital, you get to public places like that, then you just begin talking with people, and you asking questions and just started talking. So that was how myself and this lady, I still remember her, like I can still picture her face, nice, light-skinned, beautiful lady. We got talking. And she was asking me questions, why are you here? I was asking her questions as well. And then she told me that, she was here a couple of days ago and they tested her positive for HIV. She says she knows that she has the virus.
Oh.
She says she knows that she knew. She said, although they asked her to do a confirmatory test, she said that she knows that it's just going to be a waste of time, that she has the virus. So I was like, oh my. I said, well, I mean, that looks like my own story. I said, but mine is different because I don't even know where. I mean, I can't even comprehend, you understand, how that could even be my bloodstream. So she was like, don't worry about it, just take it easy, if you have the virus, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, I mean, she was really talking. She had this negative energy. The best way I can describe that atmosphere was I actually saw the devil in person. I know that's a harsh thing to say, but that was the kind of environment that she was creating with her words. So, she kept talking. She had this negative energy, just talking. Like, people just keep talking to make you confirm, right, with what they are saying, right?
I agree to what you're saying.
Right. So, it was her turn to go to the doctor. She went in, she got her test results, she came back and she was like, I told you, I have the virus.
Oh, she was excited.
And she was like, guess what? She said, well, I was able to peep into your own file.
How is that even possible?
That's why I say, when I told you, the way I could describe the whole thing was, I saw the devil personified. Now you begin to understand what, So she said, I peeped into your file and actually I saw the whole thing. You have the virus too. She was like, just forget about your American dream.
She was on a mission.
I'm telling you. She was like, forget about your American dream. Just, forget about the whole thing. Get your result. Go back home. Live your life. Just forget about it. That's it. And I looked at her. I don't even know where I got the strength from, but I thank God for that strength. I looked at her and I said, do me a favor. She said, what? I said, please, I want you to sit back. I'm going to see the doctor.
Oh, some courage.
Yeah, I said, and I'm going to come back with my testimony. Do me a favor, don't go. Just sit. And guess what?
She sat?
She sat.
Oh.
She did sit down.
She waited?
Yeah.
My goodness.
She did. So after some time, I was called in, and this time around, I was called into the chief medical director's office. That is the big boss of the whole place. I was called into his office. So I remember, thank you, Jesus. I remember walking into the office and he offered me to sit. And once I sat down, he stood up. I didn't understand why I had to stand up. He stood up and he said to me, giving me that eye contact, he said, I sincerely want to apologize on behalf of the hospital. Whatever result they read for you or they gave you 3 days ago, I don't know how that happened, but there is no trace.
That's why you're here, because there was no trace.
There is no trace of HIV/AIDS. There is nothing. There is no trace. Again, I want to tender our unreserved apology. And he was just there standing, apologizing, handing me over my test result until I walked out of his office. This man was still standing. Well, who am I to get angry? Thanking God, I was praising God.
Right.
So I walked outside, and again, the lady was
right there.
Oh yeah,
waiting for you.
So I said, I told you. I said, I told you. I said, look at my result.
What did she do at that point?
You know how people feel defeated when they are really defeated, right? You know, her countenance just dropped.
Oh, she wasn't happy for you.
Oh no, those energy that she had.
For someone
right, those negative energy that she had, they all just kind of just went down, and she just she was covered in shame. When the Bible says that, in the book of Joel, I believe Joel 2:26, that he says, my people will never be ashamed. When the Bible says that, God means what he says.
Yeah.
He's a good God.
That's true.
He's a good God. So she was so ashamed. She was covered in shame. And I just walked out. I left her.
Oh, you left her in there?
Oh yeah, because she was buried in shame. Oh no, the devil was defeated. Buried in shame. So I walked out. I was happy. I went home. I told my sister the good news. We were happy and all of that. And then we had to proceed to the interview proper.
That's right.
That's the interview proper. So during the interview, I had submitted my WIC result. Back then, it says 3 WIC. I submitted my WIC result. So in the course of the interview, I was asked only 2 questions. Only 2 questions. And I'm not going to say I was anxious or I was overexcited or whatever. I believe I was calm. Right? So the first question she asked me was, how many subjects did I take? Did I take for, my SSC? So I said 9, which was accurate. Then she asked me the last question. She said, I'm looking at your results. There's a particular subject that you had A2. That's a distinction, right? She said, which subject was that?
That's an easy question.
Girl, easy question, right? But when I tell you I was blank,
you didn't remember.
I was totally blank.
Wow.
I just answered the first question, right? But here we go. I was totally blank. I couldn't think. I couldn't remember. I could not. And that's why I said I don't think I was overly excited. I think I was calm. But whatever took place there, I was blank. So I was just throwing guesses here and there. And she was like, I'm really trying to help you. She said, what are we going to do? She said, I'm going to give you a pen and I'm going to give you a piece of paper. What you are going to do is you are going to write out all the subjects you took. She said, and after that, you begin to write the grades, right? To match each subject.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let's do that. Oh my goodness, Holy Ghost, help me. Holy Ghost. So I grabbed the paper, I grabbed the pen, and then I began to write all the subject. As soon as I got to agricultural science and I put A2 right there, she was like, stop.
That's it.
That's it. That is exactly what I said, oh, oh, A2, she said, that's what I was looking for. She said, congratulations. Welcome to the United States. I was like, what?
Wow.
Then she handed me over, I think it was a blue slip then, to come back in 7 days to get my visa. I went home and I remember telling my sister, I said, I want to start to learn how to fly the airplane.
So that was your first time, right?
I said, going back to Benin, I'm not going to go by road. I'm going to. I want to learn how to start flying so I don't make a mess of myself.
Right.
When I'm going to the US. And true to what I said, I put some money together, I bought an airplane ticket, and guess where? I sat at the very end. I sat on the last seat. I was like, I wanted to watch how people were doing it. So I was like, I'm not going to ask any question. I'm just going to observe.
Not true that this is my first time.
I sat at the very extreme in the rear end of the plane, and I was watching them how they put the seat belt.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh,
and
amazing. Wow.
Got my ticket, the day came, forgot my envelope. In Benin, I was supposed to get, there was an envelope that I was getting, and I was supposed to submit that envelope.
When you get that
right, yeah, so I forgot.
You remember that story way more than I do.
I actually forgot that envelope.
Oh, wow.
Right, and thank God that I realized that the night before mine. Before my
So you forgot it where?
In Benin.
Oh, okay.
Because I was in Lagos now.
Oh, so you now went back to
No, so thankfully the envelope was with my senior pastor.
Oh.
Thankfully.
So you sent
we just called him and he had to send it through to us through this this buses, yeah.
Okay.
So he had to send it to us and we got it that morning, and yeah.
Nice.
I took my flight.
Wow. Now you have your visa, you're in the US.
Yeah.
Did you travel by yourself? How did you get situated in the US, job wise and every other thing?
Oh yeah, that's another interesting question.